What is going on, everybody? This is Oliver Twixt here, your nerd boy cutie, always reporting for duty to do the Lord's work once again. And today we are going live to talk with ATM royalty Julie from Cycle 3 of America's Next Top Model. Duh, ATM, are y'all ready for this class session to start? I saw, once I posted her graphic down to the internet, that everyone was like, oh my God, you got Julie. And I'm like, oh my God, I guess I got Julie. Julie, as we know, was an early out for Cycle 3, but according to the questions down in the comment section, you guys have a lot that you want her to answer. And she is here with me in my chapstick. Because y'all know I got pot coolers, soup coolers. I got some big black male lips, honey. And we're going to get into the things of the things today. Are y'all excited? I'm so excited that class is back in session. I miss you guys. I love you guys. And without further ado, so I can stop rambling, let's bring Julie into the live. There we go. Oh, wait. How she just... Wait. Okay, bam. Here we go. Hi!
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Don't you look amazing?
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Where are you calling from in the world today?
I'm calling from Ashland, Oregon.
Oh, nice. What's the weather like over there?
It's a small town that's all about Shakespeare and theater, and they have some really great like culinary stuff too. Like they have like the world famous like blue cheese that they won at the Road Creamery recently. So it's pretty amazing. It's the first American cheese to ever win the award. So it's a really cool little small town.
Yeah. Okay, so Julia, so before we begin, your volume sounds a little low, and at first I thought it was me, but I just saw somebody in the chat say you sound a little low.
Okay, should I just talk a little louder maybe? Is that kind of...
Oh, that works. I mean, that kind of works, yeah.
Okay, all right, I'll just talk a little louder then, I guess.
Yay! Okay, so
okay, we can do this.
Yeah, so okay. You did America's Next Top Model Cycle 3 many moons ago. How many years has it been at this point?
It's been almost 18, 19 years at this point. I was
Damn near!
Yeah, I was 19 when I tried out, 19, 20 when I tried out for the show. Because I think I was 20 when I officially like was filming.
And damn near like 2 decades was what I was about to say. Damn near. How does it feel that people still talk about this show you did 20 years ago?
It's amazing. I mean, it's wonderful to see that it has such a following, because obviously people who are into fashion, into modeling and everything, it's been amazing to see that people still come up and like say things to me, or, you know, I really get recognized mostly like randomly would be like, your voice sounds familiar. And so I would get that more than anything, just because I think, you know, I have this kind of voice that, you know, sticks with people. So randomly throughout, people like would see me and be like, you sound like somebody I've heard before. So I get a lot of that.
Okay, Julie, I'm so sorry to bother you. The people out there say they still cannot hear you. Do you have headphones?
Yeah, let me go grab some real quick. Hold on.
Yes, I'll sing while you're gone. We were sailing along on Moonlight Bay. We can hear the whistle singing. They seem to say, you have stolen my heart.
Your song is beautiful.
As we sing our moonlight song on Moonlight Bay, on Moonlight Bay.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes!
It's much better? Okay.
It's much better. Yes. Okay, so, Julie, I know this is kind of you already prematurely answering the question because so many people wanted to know why you tried out for Top Model, but I always begin off with asking the girls this. So why did you try out for America's Next Top Model?
So I was going to school at FIDM, the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising in Los Angeles. And my friend Keith Allen Bloom was the one who called me up randomly one day and was like, yo, you got to check out this show with Tyra Banks. I bet you $1 million you could get on it. I was like, what? And at that time, I was kind of not really like looking to do modeling in that sense. But what I was really interested in was apparel manufacturing. It's like I'd gone to school for that. But I wanted to take the opportunity to basically like, I'd gone to school and I learned about this woman named Kelly Gray, who was the co-CEO of this line called St. John's in the 90s. And she was also the campaign model. Like, so her parents were Robert and Marie Gray, who co-founded the line St. John's. And Marie Gray, her mother, like was also the like campaign model from the 60s onwards for their line. So I kind of saw that as like, cool, I want to do that. I want to like model for my own clothing line is basically what I really wanted to do and just have my own line. So that's like apparel manufacturing is just the more technical way to say it.
And so, correct me if I'm wrong, but was like you modeling, getting on Top Model would have been like your way of doing that, being able to model for your own line?
Yes. Yes.
Lit. Okay, dope. Nice. I'm probably jumping the gun, and it's definitely one of the questions people want to know, but did you ever get into that industry that you said you wanted to get into?
So yeah, so I actually went back to school and got my degree in apparel manufacturing management. And then while I was at FITM, I got my bachelor's in business management. So I could like learn more about the business side of doing that. And while I was in like, you know, after school, I went and like did trade. I was like in the industry doing like trade shows and stuff. So I was kind of on the wholesale side of stuff. And as I was learning more about the industry and just the education of it, I kind of just was seeing how much like globalization had just kind of wrecked the industry, and also the waste, like the planetary waste that gets involved with, you know, some major department store orders like 100,000 units of something from from some manufacturing company. There's one little default. All of those things just are like now considered like it's not like that department store's problem anymore or whatever. And so for me, it just kind of was like, I don't want to be a part of something that's like the supply and demand chain, or the supply chain didn't make sense to me. So as much as I wanted to be in it, and I even checked out a factory when I went to India, like my parents took us to Kerala, India, where there's some possible factories and things like that. But by that time I was already like, I don't know if I want to be about this. But now that there's more things like zero waste and clean manufacturing coming out, it's a lot more appealing, but it's still done overseas. So for me, I kind of just sort of went away from that and just, you know, pursued other things that were more around sustainability and just, I don't know, healing the planet, you know.
You know, I love a well-spoken, educated woman any time of the day. That was, I totally get it. So once you saw what it was all about, you eventually said, like, this isn't the realm for me. I don't want to be a part of this industry that has this type of byproduct, correct? Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Yes. Now, I'm curious to know, were you speaking like this back in the day when you were on Top Model, like with the producers and things? I'm just.
Yeah, so that's interesting too, because they knew that. I wasn't shy about saying, hey, I want to start an apparel manufacturing company. That wasn't like a surprise by any means. Like I was like interested in fashion because I went to fashion school, you know, like that sort of was my realm and my alley.
Nice. I'm so impressed right now. I'm very impressed. So, what was the audition process like for you? You sent in a tape. You went to an audition.
So it's really interesting because, you know, like I said, my friend Keith was the one who was like trying to get me on the show. And at that time I was like, no, like I need to like work on myself. I got some traumas I need to work out, whatever. But he was just like, no, just go for it. And I went out one night with some friends and I met this woman who was a radio DJ in Seattle at the time named Tiffany Warner. And she was doing Q93, and they were doing this special that they were like, okay, let's get 10 girls to come on our radio show and you guys will get a chance to be like maybe the first ones to audition. So she kind of invited me to like do this radio thing, and I was like, oh, well, I don't have to try that hard. I'm gonna, you know, so I'll go for it. I went on the radio show, and all the girls got to end up, that was like a little surprise. All the girls actually got to be the ones to be the first, like, you know, 20 people or so to audition for the show. So as like, so we had to do some recording of stuff, but I really remember just going to the actual place where we like met with all the judges and stuff, and like seeing the lines of girls like dressed up in these like theatrical costumes and like flamenco dresses. I mean, like, what are we like auditioning for a Broadway play right now? I'm so confused. And so it was nice walking by everybody and also feeling really plain because I was wearing like a pink tank top and jeans and some strappy heels, and really wasn't like dressed up like how the other girls were. And so I kind of felt super casual, but I felt confident as like I went through the process.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get to everyone's favorite part, which is A&Team roll call, where I name everyone who was on the cast of Cycle 3, contestants, the on-screen talent, as well as the judges. And you're going to tell me the first things that come to your brain. It could be good, ugly, bad, or indifferent. 1 word, 5 words, whatever comes to your brain, we want to hear it. Are you ready?
Okay. I don't know if you'll get the first thing. We'll see. Let's
okay, we'll see. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So the first name is the first girl out, Magdalena.
Magdalena was really sweet. I liked her, and I thought she had a really nice personality for the little time that I knew her.
Nice. How was that photo shoot in Jamaica?
So Jamaica was a lot of fun. I
Mm-hmm.
remember getting there was kind of a trip because like, I remember Anne freaking out on the plane and being just like, what is going on? Because she kept needing like Eva the entire time. And so I remember being like, very much like, oh, that's really interesting. But the Jamaica photo shoot, like us getting there was really fun. Although I was one of the last people to go. So I remember thinking like, okay, all these girls are getting all this daylight. I was like, I don't know if they'd see me, but I need a little more light than these other girls do, But it turned out amazing though, because like once we actually like saw the pictures, I was like, oh yeah, that lighting wasn't so, obviously they know what they're doing, but so the picture turned out great though.
Did you think you were going? Oh, go ahead, Mom. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, well, one of the things too is that so that Nick, I can't remember his name, the photographer, Catalicchio, I want to say, he was the photographer for the bikini shoot in Jamaica. And he had actually said, like, out of all the girls, like one of the comments that he had said, he's like, out of all the girls, the only girl here that could be a campaign model is Julie. And I was kind of like, because like Tyra actually read his comments, like in the, in like the, like, like that photo shoot session. And so everybody was like, ooh, and I sat there like, what's a campaign model? And they're like, Tyra's like, that means that you could do Gucci, Prada, Calvin Klein, all of these different brands. I was like, cool, all right, like just kind of taking it in. So I guess, the first one was a great photo shoot.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Next on the list is Leah.
Leah's really, I remember her being very positive, I guess. Like I'm kind of think like pink positive was her thing. But I just remember her being really like chill though. So yeah.
Gotcha. How was the photo shoot that you got sent home on, the close-up beauty photo shoot?
So that I completely remember that day because I don't know. I feel like I'm not trying to throw anybody on the bus really, but I feel like Jay's like maybe he wasn't having the best stomach situation or whatever, but I remember him needing to like go to the bathroom and like maybe having a little diarrhea and something. But I remember during my shoot, I kind of kept seeing sort of him like being distant, not really paying attention or whatever. So I kind of like, I remember saying like, I'm not really getting direction here. And, so that to me was how I felt about that whole thing, being like, okay, I guess that's it. That's what we're doing. So, I just like left it at that. So for me, that whole shoot was just sort of like, I think just kind of, I wasn't fully engaged in it because I didn't feel like I was getting a lot from the other side because, they were dealing with their own stuff, at that moment. But I was like, I think we had Indian food too because we had that Indian party. I was like,
a little curry.
If you can't handle it, get some yogurt in your life.
Yeah. I think somebody else from Cycle 3, I believe it was Amanda, who I interviewed back in 2020 at this point. Oh my God. 2020
Yeah.
said that Tyra Banks also had a stomach situation in Japan when she was shooting them in their kimonos and she had to keep going and she told them like she had IBS or something like that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, some problems going around the the staff during that time. I don't know, all the
maybe
people.
on the crafts table something had got into the children's. Next on the list is Kristi.
Kristi. Oh yeah. Kristi was really nice. I remember her just she had a look that I hadn't like seen, and so I wasn't really like sure, but I remember her just being nice, and so I didn't really have anything. I don't remember having anything like big interactions with her.
Gotcha. Next
Mm-hmm.
on the list is Jennifer.
I loved Jennifer when we were on the show. I thought she was really funny. She had a like great personality, and I'm still like friends with her on Instagram too. So yeah, I like Jennifer.
Jennifer's married with like a husband, right, and children.
Yeah. Yeah, she's got a great family life and everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Next on the list is Kelly.
So Kelly, it's hard, because one of the things I noticed about Kelly was that when she was like, going on the show, I thought I was going on like a modeling, competition and like really like, in real time learning about like what happens when people are on reality shows and what happens when there's a camera in the room. And there's an example of sort of like Kelly when we're just like kind of hanging out by ourselves. Like the camera crew would like sit there and like go into different rooms to see who was like, I don't know, doing anything interesting or whatever, right? So I remember like her and I like shared a room and I was sitting on the bed reading a book and she was sitting there getting ready. And as soon as the camera guys like came and she's like putting on makeup, she like had this crazy voice come up. She's like, and then you put the makeup on like this, and then you put it on like this. And I was just like, what am I watching here? Yeah, because like she was quiet. We're quiet. We're sitting there doing our separate things. And then all of a sudden camera comes in. I was like, okay. So I think I had a lot of, maybe especially younger Julie had a lot of issues with a very super like feminine, like Valley girl type, I think at that point. So I think she was not my favorite person on the show because of like just personality differences. And not to say that I was like, I just, I was annoyed easily too by like, by her. So I think I tried to not like spend as much time with her. Yeah.
Receive.
So.
Next on the list is Cassie.
Cassie. Oh, yeah, Cassie was fine. I guess I'm like, I don't really remember having a lot of like friendships and interactions with her, but I did see a question that somebody had put about like how Amanda had called out that said that like Cassie had told us about her eating disorder. And honestly, I don't remember that. But I do remember wondering like why that was getting passed around, like why that information was sort of like casually being like, oh yeah, well, she's got an eating disorder, being like, maybe we don't need to be talking about it. Like it was, I think during that time, I just remember like a lot of people getting involved in that conversation that I didn't think was necessary.
Right, definitely.
Yeah.
Look at you down in the comments. Next list is Tara.
Takara. So I liked Takara. I liked her personality. We got along. She cracked me up, and I liked her resiliency and just she had a really punchy like personality that was fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Next list is Nicole.
Nicole's really sweet. Like I remember her, like she cracked me up too because she has a really funny personality, and so I just remember laughing a lot with Nicole because like she is really quirky.
Did you watch her season?
I did watch. I watched like I watched a few episodes, but like I didn't end up. I like right after I got kicked off, I ended up like not watching the rest of it until the last episode, which I actually saw at the season finale party, which was a whole situation and a half because there was like a big after party thing, but I remember Janice Dickinson showing up and yelling at Eva and saying, you should be getting on your knees and kissing Amanda's ass and thanking Amanda. Like, it was this whole thing where it was like huge, like kind of like after party drama being like, oh snap, like this, like, yeah, it was something that I remember being shocked because I didn't watch all of it, right? So I was kind of surprised by, like, I was like, well, I'm guessing Eva won based on that whole thing. So yeah, like Janice was livid about it, and she like it was like known, it was really known that she was pissed about Amanda not winning, and she like made poor Eva cry. I was really like, yeah, that was really not a classy move.
We've never heard this story before, at least I don't think.
Yeah, well, yeah. Because it was interesting because I remember Janice Dickinson, her date was super gorgeous guy, and he came up to me and he's like, are you like Joby Titus's sister? So he's talking about my older brother. And I was like, how do you know my brother? It was very random because he was some guy that lived in Seattle, but he was Janice's date for that evening. And so I remember he was like, hey, why don't you come hang out with us afterwards? I was like, no, thank you. I'm okay on that situation. Yeah.
You know, Janice Dickinson is one of my favorite people to ever watch on television. She really is. Like, I enjoy the Janice Dickinson antics in reality TV. But I always wonder why no one like jumped on Janice. I'm just being honest, because Janice talks a lot of cash money shit. Like, Janice talks a lot of trash, and I'm just like, why has no one has ever pounced on Janice?
So I think I said, well, because what happened is that, like, at the so the judging and stuff, right? When she asked that little, like, you know, why do you want to be a model? You know, kind of had it in that way. I think at that point I was already fed up, and I was just like, well, I want to do it because of this, you know? And like, I think because they were criticizing me for my outfit. She's like, you're not looking like a model. I'm like, what are you talking about now? Like, they didn't like my outfit. They hated like what I was wearing. They made me like take down my hair. And I was just sort of like, I remember feeling like really small and being like, this is dumb, you know, like this like doesn't make any sense of why they're doing this. But then also in that moment, just being like, and then when she had asked that and they were like, oh, she's using modeling for manufacturing. I'm like, isn't that how this, you know, isn't that how this works? So for me, I think I was just sort of at like, you know, she had said that, and I was just like, I'm done with her too, because like I think I was over that whole thing of just being like, I don't want to be here if this is like not here, but this like raw and like vulnerability that I had with that. I was just like, I was angry, I was mad, I was really mad.
And catch this is, isn't it crazy that so many years later, on the same show you were on, Tyra began incorporating branding, and it's not only about modeling. And isn't Tyra famous for using modeling? I mean, just the season before, she used the model to try to push a song that nobody want to play. I'm probably the one who gave it its platinum status. I do like that song. Shake Your Body is a Grammy Award #1 hit in my brain. But she used modeling to sell us songs. She used modeling to sell us ice cream, to sell us a book.
We saw Boys in the Hood.
Acting career, child, getting yoked up, chafed up by Mike Myers in a little thing. They even showed they deleted the scene of her dying. They just showed her hand. She used modeling to try to push us about some lip gloss, eyeshadow. Tyra Banks herself used modeling to try to convince a talk show. She got an Emmy though, but a talk show. How does it feel being a part of a show? We're doing roll call, I kind of bypass because we got on this. How does it feel getting sent home for something that became so crucial later on in the show?
You know, I kind of just felt like it was like they were mad because I didn't say the exact thing that they wanted, even though I was like, I wasn't wrong, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it was that kind of thing. So I feel like I wasn't mad about it because I knew that they were already full of it anyways at that point. Being like, because, you know, when I first auditioned for the show, like one of the things that we had to do was we had to go to the CBS studio and meet with the CBS president. And I remember at that point, I was like so sick of like being around all the girls and stuff that I was like, let me go like in a room by myself and just like hang out. And so like, I saw this piece of paper on the ground and the Washingtonian in me is like, let me go recycle this paper real quick. And I go to pick up this piece of paper and on it has a name of all the girls plus a stereotype next to each of their names. So it said Julie, the ethnic girl, Takara, the big black girl, Eva, the diva, like Yaya, the proud African. I remember like kind of being like, you know, at that time being like, what is this? And just being like, oh, okay, like just sort of threw it away, didn't think anything of it. But like that sort of like, to me, like as like the show was going on while it was happening, like I knew that Eva was gonna win based like from the preliminaries, because I could tell by the way that the person who was interviewing me was questioning me. I asked her straight up, I was like, is Eva gonna win this? And she was like, what? And I was like, you're asking a lot of, like, I just, you know, I'm not dumb, so I could like see the way that she's leading questions and guiding questions, that, you know, that was the case. So when, you know, I called my friend Keith, like the first person I called once I got into the house, and he was like, all right, like, who's your competition? I was like, I already know who's gonna win. And he's like, how do you know? I was like, because of the way that they've been setting this up and the way that they've been doing all these questions, I was like, she's gonna win it. And like, that's why I wasn't surprised that like Eva won our season, because I already knew based on like what they were already setting up. So I'd called it from like the preliminaries, not to be like, oh, she's like my competition, but it was like, this is their story. This is what they're going with, you know? So yeah, a lot of stuff. Sorry, frozen in time right now. I know the stereotype, the stereotyping
right now.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing too, is that like, you know, I know that somebody had put a question that I saw earlier, or they were asking about like, what would you tell Tyra if they were to modernize the show and revamp it or whatever? I'd be like representation matters, but don't typecast people. Let them be who they are, and like not based on like what you think that like they fill out for you. Like Cassie was the stripper. Like they had these little like, you know, things for like the little girl, Nicole, whatever it was. It was all these like these things that they had. Like, so for me, like I kind of like, that's what was so interesting. I felt like I had this view of like, I felt like Jim from The Office, where I kept looking at the camera, talking to the camera guys, and like getting in trouble, being like, Julie, stop talking to the camera, like stop talking to camera people. Cause I kept being like, are they being crazy right now? And they're like, you can't talk to the camera like that. I'm like, okay, whatever, there'd be anything going down or whatnot. So me, I felt like I was learning how reality show works in real time as things were going on. So, you know, I think that to me was like a really big takeaway from this, right? Because obviously, yeah, you're on the show, but like really seeing how they're editing it in real time and how they're narrating and guiding questions was like something to me. I was like, all right, let's see how this goes. So yeah.
Thank you, Julie, so much for that. I am so like gobsmacked. Like I felt like every time I recovered from something, you told me something else. I just kept getting. Oh my God! Okay, so just to clarify, you girl, because you told me so much. Oh my Jesus! You say you went to the CBS studio.
Yeah.
And you found a piece of paper with all of the cast in typecast next to their names. You found like on this where, like on a
like, so like it was almost like a board meeting room, it looked like. And like, so when because like I said, I was like tired of all the girls, and so I just like was like, let me like go into a room and just like breathe and relax or whatever. So I went into this room by myself, and like I said, like I found a piece of paper on ground that I went to go recycle, throw away, and like kind of looked at it, and I was like, wait, what is all this stuff? Like, why is all our names on it? And then being like, oh, I'm the ethnic girl, you know, kind of like being like, oh, okay, awesome, I guess.
Wow. Yeah.
And
when you spoke to the producer who was giving you your questioning, when you said, did you tell her like you think Eva's going to win, or like was that something that you said to her?
I kind of was a little, not accusatory, but I was like, is Eva going to win this? And she like was like, what makes you think that? I was like, because of all your questions. And she was like, no, it's anybody's. Like, I'm like, good answer. Like,
right,
know, that's anybody's game or whatever.
Oh my God. Okay, okay, let me ask you this. So we did speak to Nicole some months ago, I think this year, 2022, I think. Maybe the end of 2021, I'm not sure. But we spoke to her, and she basically said that, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, there we go. I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, I'm so sorry. She
No.
basically said that a producer basically came up to her and told her that she had been edited down basically because guys, and I can't, don't quote me right now. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm drawing a blank. They'll probably say it before I'll be able to get it out. But they basically said like she was edited down based off like I think what she had said to Tyra or like something had happened where like her personality was taken. From what you remember from Nicole versus what you saw on the show, did you see any differences between the two, like being with her, experiencing Nicole, and then watching how she was presented as almost like a B character in Cycle 3?
Well, like I said, like I think a lot of that had to do with like, because like when I remember when the show came out and when they were like, oh, the girl with the eating disorder, I was like, the hell? Like that's like what they titled the show as, like for that like whole focus, right? But it wasn't like that was really a big like storyline. It was like weird about their storylines and how they edited people too, because like like one of the things that happened is that when I got kicked off, like I actually argued. I was mad because I argued with the judges that they had picked the wrong. They had picked a bad picture. I was like, that's a horror. I go, yeah, it's a bad picture. Even though I had retouch like photo out of everybody, it was like, yeah, that's a bad picture. I go, if you guys give me the role, I could actually pick out the picture for you. And they're like, well, this is what the judges went with. And I was like, okay, well, that's not. I can see why you don't like that picture. I don't like it either. So like that's like. So I think there's a lot of that stuff too.
Oh, Tyra, we bind you. We bind you from doing harm. Harm to yourself, harm to others, and harm to our Wi-Fi. And Tyra, we bind you, bitch. Get up out of here, because girl, we's getting some juicy ANTMT in 2022. Are you back? You back, Julie?
Yeah, I'm back. Can you see me?
Yes, I see it.
Okay, perfect. Hold on. Let me just set my phone up really quick again. Oh, there we go. Okay. Wonderful.
Your headphones?
Yeah. All right. Here we go. Okay. All right.
Now, where's the mic?
Oh, wait.
It's okay,
There
Julie, girl. Okay.
All this good stuff. Okay.
You know what, Julie? I don't think nobody has ever come in here and torn it up like this to this level. So the had to jump out of the internet connection on the Instagram and had to go over there and knock the phone out, child. They said, oh, this is not happening anymore. Julie, you said you got to arguing with the judges while you were there, like Janice,
Yeah.
Tyra, Nigel, Nole.
Yes. Yeah, like so basically when they had picked the picture, because like I think Janice called me pedestrian looking or whatever, and I was like, because like they had this thing where they showed our picture, but they had all the little mini like pictures. I was like, look at that, I see that picture that's better than the one that you guys picked, like I was like, no, that like I bet you I could pick a better picture than you guys, and like whatever he picked, that was not a good picture, and so I like called them out for being like, you purpose, like you guys picked a bad picture, and not only that, but they're like, let's see your untouched photo, and then they were like, there's like barely any work, right? So they were like, well, why do you even want to be a model, they were just, I think it was just like there's a lot of heat. I thought like there's already a lot of heat anyways.
They was ready for you to go, friend.
I think I called them out. I was calling them out, like you said, like just going in there and just already being like, okay, well, she's already winning this or whatever. But yeah, it was it was interesting. Like I said, for me, it was like seeing how a reality TV show works, and just like kind of like because like as much as I was behind the camera, I was curious about the other side of it, about production, about filming. I love stuff like that. I like watching the making of movies and things of that sort. So I'm like watching all of this going like, this is what's happening here. So yeah.
Did you call them out before that day, before your final day in judging? Had you had a moment where you were calling things out while filming?
Well, yeah, because I got talked to a lot about not like speaking to the cameraman or not speaking to like not talking to any of the staffers really. Like they're like, keep all your interactions just within like with like the other contestants. I was kind of like, oh, okay, like that's fine. But yeah, so
Next on the list is Norel.
Norel. Oh, okay. You know what? Am I getting people confused now? Yeah, Norel. Actually, I don't really remember Norel all that much. I like in terms of our interactions, so I don't really have anything to say other than she was. I remember her, like I said, she's the one that was really quirky and funny and sweet. So yeah, I remember liking her a lot and having nothing to say other than that she was cool. I was happy to see her braces get taken out. That was cool to, as somebody who had braces like back in 8th grade and stuff, I was like, yes, I know that feeling of how good you feel when you get that off. So that was exciting to see that transformation for her.
Next on the list is Ann.
And you know, I liked Anne enough, but her relationship and her, I guess as they title it, the codependency or whatever, just her interaction with Eva right off the bat, like her and Eva were like these besties right away at like the preliminaries, and we're kind of like the mean girls of the preliminaries, you know? And so it was like, I remember just sort of having that sort of like look on her, just being like, oh, okay, well, she's, you know, she's fine, but she's not the nicest person, I guess. But I thought she was funny still. I could still laugh at people who are, you know, like she just wasn't somebody I was super close with.
What about Amanda?
So I liked Amanda a lot. Like Amanda and I were friends, and
I'm sorry, Julie.
you know, I got
your foot is hitting that mouse. I'm just like, what keeps? No, not you. No, you're fine. No. I'm like, why does something keep trying to airdrop to me? Gotcha. I'm so sorry.
No worries. So yeah, Amanda, I think Amanda was somebody that, like I said, I got along with a lot. I felt like maybe, like I said, there was a part where, you know, I don't know if she was involved in being with gossip or anything like that, but I've kind of felt like there was a lot of flow of information that went through here throughout throughout the show, and that it then got to other people easily. So I think that was something that I had noticed like kind of afterwards, but being in the moment with her, I thought, like I said, like she was really sweet. I thought she was really considerate, and you know, I enjoyed her a lot.
Please correct me if I'm wrong by saying this, but did you say in so many words that Amanda used to talk a lot? And Amanda was running her mouth.
You know, I'm just saying that there's just some information, like, you know, the Cassie thing was something that I think wasn't something that was, you know, that got leaked through her. And so I think that's what I'm saying. That was like flow of information came through her and then went to others.
Oh. Next on the list is Yaya.
I loved Yaya. So I remember, like, one of my favorite memories I have with Yaya was on the way to the bikini shoot. We were in the van, and there's this artist named Desiree who's like this, I want to say this Caribbean artist, because like for the life of me, I can't understand anything that the woman's saying, but I love her music. And so I had like Yaya like translate her English, whatever the language was. So Yaya was sitting there, like me and her were just vibing over music. And so, and she came from like a background dance. And so like me and her would always be like dancing, or we just kind of talk about that because that's something we were both really interested in. I mean, I never went anywhere professionally for dance, but I just loved Bollywood dancing. So she knew that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the last girl is Eva the Diva, the winner of Cycle 3.
Eva. So I will say that even though like she had a lot of attitude, all this other stuff, I really did like Eva. I still talk about this. Like, so after the party with Anand Jon, there was a situation that happened with Kristi where like basically she like wanted, I think it was Kristi, that she wanted to leave the show because Anand Jon had was like feeling her up, whatever. It was this whole thing where like she was like, I don't want to be like a hanger, like I just don't want to be like used like a model that's being used like a hanger with clothes or whatever. And so we had to have a meeting with all the girls with the executive producer about Anand Jon and how they don't support that kind of behavior and all of this stuff. So that's why when I got disqualified and they were asking like this, like some like person came out, like there's a article that says Julie Titus thinks Anand Jon smells, and it was like this whole thing that had come out about it. But like after, the producer, after Ken Mok and talked to all the girls or whatever, I remember I was in the car with Eva and I would pay good money to get the raw footage of the conversation that her and I had about like, I was like, Indian men are not like this guy, like whatever, this guy's just a creep. I don't know nothing about him other than just his behavior, how he's acting or whatever. And so that was something like her and I were just kind of like going back and forth being like, let him see if he could try to touch me and see what happens, like, yeah, let him put his hands on me and see what happens. Like Eva was saying that, right? So we were just cracking up because like, to me, like, even though, like I said, like, there's personality wise, whatever, but like in those moments when you like connect and bond with somebody, like we had a good time over the fact that like that guy was being like a shitty dude or whatever. So like, other than that though, like, yeah, like there's moments where I really enjoyed Eva's company and then other times I was just, whatever. So
let me ask you this, Julie. Was it Kristi or was it Jennifer? Just so I can make sure I'm clarifying for everyone.
It was because it was the girls I think that won, who was the girls that won that little thing? I think it was Eva, Narelle, and Kristi, I want to say, were like the three girls who like got to dress up in his clothes. So it was whoever, like, so it was, I want to say it was Kristi. It was Kristi because she was a blonde with the bangs and the American flag dress or whatever. But yeah, she was super, like she wanted to lead the show after like that because felt so violated, she just like didn't like his behavior at all. So
did you know, and I'm only going by, they said Eva, no, come on, God. Okay, they said yes, Kristi was there.
Yeah, Kristi. Yeah, it's Kristi.
I'm only going based off what the viewers have put in the comment section and what they're saying right now on the live. So I must lead this with allegedly, but I don't think my friends here would, be saying things that aren't true. They said that the same guy that you're talking about got convicted of, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, and I will lead with allegedly because ain't nobody fucking with me over here. Listen, hey. Allegedly, he got convicted of rape and assault and is now serving life in prison.
Yeah, underage. Yes, like all of that.
You know this.
So, yeah, because so interesting enough. So he is the same type of Indian I am. He's Malayali. It's like a certain place in Kerala, India, and so like we had this sort of like community of like our families like kind of sort of like knew each other or whatever. And so when that article came out that said Julie Titus thinks Anand Jon smells, my mom was livid. She was mad because she was like, you don't talk about people, don't say things bad about other people. I'm like, I'm only saying what's true. I'm not like, whether it's bad or not, like, I'm just saying what I experienced or whatever. She's like, well, you just don't say bad things about, you don't say bad things about, Indians or whatever. And I was like, I don't really care what he is. If he's a creep, he's a creep, And so that, like, all that stuff had come out and just sort of been like, yeah, well, I'm sorry that there was all these girls who were victim to that or whatever. But yeah, like I don't know anything about that, but like, I just know like his behavior on that show. And just like, I had to like basically tell the girls, like, I'm sorry, this is not how Indian men are. Like, that's just him. He's just that's just one person,
Oh, Julie, listen, hey, Julie. Oh my God. I'm just keep on going. This is Julie. You came ready, locked and loaded.
Like I said, there's even though I got kicked off like early, I felt like there was a lot of stuff that like still happened that I took real good notice of. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna remember this,
Yes.
So.
Oh my God. Okay, next on the list is Jay Manuel.
So I like Jay. I thought he was nice. I did. Like I said, I think when it came to like giving directions and certain things, I don't know. I didn't really connect with him very well on that. But other than that, I really liked like spending like, we had little interactions here and there where he did like a mini photo shoot or whatever. But yeah, I just thought he was nice.
Okay. Next on the list is Jay Alexander.
So Miss Jay Alexander, I didn't really get to do a lot of interacting other than him yelling out Kama Sutra the entire time. Like I was like, it's like these things now where go like, okay, you know, that's annoying. Like Kama Sutra, get it, yes, you know, and like actually I realized I felt like there's another thing too. Where they're like, yeah, they kept just saying Kama Sutra. Like every time I kept coming in the room, it was just like that's what they were associating with at the time was like you know, like it's like there's so much more stuff that India has than just that. But if you're associating that because you're also being like, ooh, sexy, I'm like, okay, well, that, you know, the actress of that movie was dope, so I'll take that compliment, you know. But still, it was a little, I remember being a little thrown off by just being like, oh, okay, just getting these sort of same repetitive stereotype kind of comments. But I think at that time, like, we didn't think it was so stereotypical. It was just more like, oh, they're noticing my culture. How nice. You know, oh, Kama Sutra, thank you for saying something. You know, you're like you're happy to get little tidbits of appreciation, even if it's, you know, crap.
Isn't that crazy? It's
I mean,
changing the bell. It's crazy. Next on the list is Nole Marin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't really know. I just remember like his little dog and, you know, just his little, I don't know, he just wasn't my favorite person because like his personality wasn't somebody that I'd ever hang out with. So, you know, I didn't really have much to say other than, you know, when he was like, oh, I don't like your outfit. And he was like talking crap about it. And then later on, like winter, like the sweater boots that I had were like popular that like a couple months later. And so they're like, oh, I don't like you wearing this stuff. Like, it was just one of those things being like, okay, but I'm like setting a trend before it starts and like you're calling me out and you're supposed to be the trend guy. Okay, that's fair.
Miss Minnie died.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, yeah. Not Miss Minnie. Princess, what was the dog name, y'all? I'm sorry. I'm thinking about, oh, Jesus. Freudian slip. Jesus, oh my God. I can't think of the dog's name, but the dog passed away.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. The dog was cute. I like the dog.
What you said?
I said I like the dog.
Empress Minnie. There we go. Empress Minnie. There we go, y'all. There we go. Next on the list is Nigel Barker.
Okay, so Nigel is super cute. And I remember, I didn't know really anything about him other than so after, you know, we did the season finale and we all came together, I remember hearing about more drama about how he was like, had been with the previous contestant or whatever on a different season. And so like there was this stuff about like him and his wife basically didn't let him be a photographer anymore. And so that's why like he was always like he was like on the other side of stuff. But I remember at the season finale, like we're at the hotel with my friend and he was like with his wife, like walking by and he did this wave where like they're at the pool and I was like, oh, hey, like I was waving at them. And he did this wave behind her back that was like, hi. I was like, Playa got the wave behind the back. I was kind of like, did you see that? My friend was like, he did wave behind his wife's back. Like he's like, you know, but other than that, he seemed like he was an interesting person, you know. Am I just dropping too much? This is why they had that 10-year NDA. This is why they had that. Like you got me. I caught all the wrong things.
Oh my God! There we go. Hey Tyra, get your ass out of here! Don't be messing with our cameras or nothing. Tyra, we bind you. We bind you. Tyra, we bind you. Okay, listen. I would not be doing this is too much. Yeah, this is too much. I'm about to get off this. Oh my God! But it's good though, so we're gonna stay locked in. Let me ask you.
Okay.
Did they say a name about potentially who this potential contestant? Because this is like an alleged thing that he potentially did, like alleged.
Yeah, yeah, I could say I'm gonna say allegedly, so I don't like throw myself under the bus. But yeah, this is allegedly he was with a contestant from I think obviously season one or two. I forgot who it was, but I think like some of the other girls knew, but I didn't know who it was, and so that's why they had said like, oh yeah, that's why he's like a judge and not a photographer anymore. Because then that's also why his wife was like on like the set so often. Yeah. That's why.
Was her name a month of the year? No, I'm just playing. Don't answer that. Next on the list is Janice Dickinson.
Janice, I will say I appreciate who, like, where she's come from, like, you know, standing on the shoulder of giants kind of a thing. And also, but I also just didn't really like care for her personality at all. Like you said, like she was like, you know, she was out to the barn, always talking all sorts of mess. And so, you know, she was a different person. If I was a different person at a different like time in my life, you know, I'd be like, I'll go check her real quick if I needed to. But I feel like she was somebody that I didn't necessarily like, you know, she wasn't my favorite person. And I, you know, I wish her well. Like, I just hope that she's, you know, she can find a lot of healing in her life.
I think Janice can calm down. Janice should be by her 60s now. It's only so much cutting
I
up.
don't know. You see Keith Richards, you see some of these people living their lives to like, you know, the fullest. So, you know, who knows? Like I said, you said she calmed down, so I hope so.
Last but not least, Tyra Banks.
So I really appreciated seeing Tyra and meeting her and getting to experience. One of the things that will be immortalized into my brain was after I got kicked off, so there's a couple photo shoots that like we still had to do, like, because they were like, oh, like paparazzi's following us or whatever. And I remember like, God, I guess it was the one where everybody was in like Hello Kitty style, like giant bows and stuff like that. And we had to wear like kind of go around like this walkway. But I remember asking Tyra, like, I was like, hey, yeah, we wear, like, I remember wearing like we had bows and crazy things. It was like a roller skate photo shoot, I feel like. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So like, cause we had to like, you know, still had to do that. And one of the things I told her was that I was like, hey, I like want to go pee, but I don't know how to do this. Like, I feel like, you know, I can't pee standing up. She's like, yeah, you can. I was like, what do you mean? And so she full on pantomimed herself, like spread. She's like, all right, you just need to stand up straight, spread your legs and bend at the waist so you can so just pant. So seeing Tyra pantomiming, standing peeing up was just like, oh my gosh. Okay. So there's a little trick to the trade that, you know, they didn't show in the show, but it was, I thought it was really fun. You know, it was like, to me, that was like a moment where I was like, cool, I get the real Tyra right now. So yeah.
You know what? I feel like the real, and I won't say the real Tyra because that's so like, you know, I don't feel like that's like inclusive language, the real somebody who really knows.
Right.
But you know, the Tyra that I don't really care. I feel like the Tyra probably eats boiled peanuts, probably watches old episodes of the Parkers, eats a little Popeyes, dances to Trina. Do you know Trina from the South, the Diamond Princess?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Tricky. I feel like she know Nan every word. That's everybody really want to see. We like prim and proper, cute and nice, everything, you know, but we want to see Tyra, you know,
right.
Ate up, relax, you know, that Tyra.
Right. And, you know, actually looking back on the show too, I felt like I'm seeing her, like, she looked just as nervous as we were, right? Like her being in front of, you know, like that's something I actually really noticed is that how nervous she looked in the first few seasons too of like doing it. Cause, you know, this is like a new show for her too. And so I like remember being like watching the first episode again and be like, oh, look at her being all nervous to meet us and whatnot. It's like a first thing. And so, yeah. So,
I don't ask everyone this question. I only ask it on special occasions just based off how the chat is going. But I'm going to ask you an additional person and name I want to ask you about. I want to ask you about Ken Mok in the production. What's the first thing that comes to your brain?
Whew. I mean, so like I said, like getting to deal with Ken after that, the Anand Jon situation was something that let me know that like where his integrity was. So like, regardless of all the stereotyping that happened with the typecasting of like everybody like at the CBS studios and stuff like that, I think to me that was like the thing that stands out the most was him being like, we do not accept his behavior. This is not anything that we want to represent. And like, we want to let you girls know this is how we feel. So like, to me, that was something that was a really integrous move on his part. And that let us know exactly the kind of person he was, because it's like, are you going to be another person that's just going to fluff up a celebrity, like, and like kind of like shun away when they like do something? Or are you going to be somebody who's like, you know, so obviously they didn't ever have that guy on the show anymore after that. So that spoke a lot to who he was. So when I think of Ken Mok, at least I think of that integrity of like, you know, not having in that one particular situation of like not letting girls get hurt, you know?
Shout out to Ken Mok for that.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much. That's the end of A&T and Roll Call. You did
Yeah.
fabulous. I think out of all the 100 roll calls I have done, this, guys, tell me if I'm wrong, definitely somewhere in the top 10. That was an iconic A&T and Roll Call. Julie, put the hands and give yourself like a break.
Thank you.
Okay, so now I'm going to ask you some of the fan questions. We're going to just, round this thing out a little bit. Excuse me if I pause, because some of these you actually answered already, especially since you said you cheated and you went and looked in the comment section, which is okay. I'm going to skim through, and if I pause a little bit, it's because I just don't want to ask competitive. So here we go. This is from Sarah Nell, and she's saying, there is now a viral clip of a brunette girl wearing a green shirt during audition week that, during her meeting with the judges, says now the quotable line, "I'm not feeling it. I just don't want to do it. I don't think this is right for me." Then starts off, "I always felt like this was fake." Do you remember this girl and or moment at all?
During the auditions, like during you mean the preliminaries?
Yeah, like meet the judges week, casting week.
Oh, that I don't like. And you're asking about a particular person. Like, yeah, I don't remember that. I just remember there was a lot of I thought it was weird that they were like when Eva did the apology, or when like Amanda announced that she had the degenerative eye disease or whatever. And I remember being like, okay, this was that to me felt very staged or whatever. Not
I don't know. I just don't think this is great for me. I don't want to do it. I want to go home. I can't take the pressure of it. Don't you think any job?
So you know what? I don't think that's actually fake. I think that based on what we were going through, because I could see why she probably did that, because we had a few days, because it looks like there's only a couple days, right? But we were there for a while, and we had to do 500 questionnaires, psychological testing, and we had to meet with psychologists, and this so there was a lot of exposure of stuff where I feel I could see it. Somebody, for me, I thought it was interesting, right? But somebody else could feel very exposed and vulnerable to it, to being wait a minute, this is not what I signed up for. And so I could understand why maybe that was somebody's that was staged. Maybe, I don't know if it was, but I can understand maybe if it was real, why she would have that reaction based on all the things that were going on that weekend.
Gotcha. Okay. Josh Colbo wants to know, when did you film the intro of Cycle 3? How soon did you guys film the intro, and what was that experience like?
Oh, right, because it was our first, because that was the first time, once we got the first 14 people, we did the mini photo shoot. We had to do all the promo stuff for the show and whatnot. I remember just being because first of all, when I first went on the preliminaries, they had I got off the van. I got out of the van from the airport that they dropped me off at the hotel, and as soon as I get out, I see a cameraman and somebody with a mic boom, and I've never seen a camera crew come at you like that and start asking questions. And so, immediately they start asking me questions. And at one point, one of the guys was like, "Hey, can you tell her to stop touching the boom mic?" And I was like, "What's going on?" And without even knowing it, so there's this furry thing kind of in my face. Then I start petting it because I just was nervous. I was like, "Oh yeah, anyway, blah, blah, blah." They were like, "Please stop petting the boom mic." I was like, oh, okay, got it. So I think the whole surprise of of cameras, of the whole thing was a surprise. I forgot what the question was. I was wanting to bring it back to that for some reason.
About filming the intro for Cycle 3.
Oh, filming the intro. So yeah, I think it was just more of just I think I was just shocked to be okay, now flip around and look at the camera, and you're it was I think it was just sort of just you've never done something for the first time, and I've never really modeled or anything or any of this stuff, so just it was very overwhelming, but fun, but overwhelming. Yeah.
Okay, next on the list. I'm sorry, we're not doing any team roll call. Back to the questions. The next question, excuse me. This is Gia saying, "Julie, I love her. Anyways, how does it feel being amongst the first Indian contestants on the show? I think you were the first one, right?
Yeah. Well, like I said, based on this, finding that list of this, the typecasting, and then having like another Indian person come on afterwards, like, I guess, it was great because it's like, yes, I was the first Indian person, but I felt like I didn't get to represent well enough, and so I think that to me was sort of like a little like, oh, I wish I would have like done better for the culture, kind of a thing, but
If
not
given
even for the culture.
to do so.
Huh?
I said, if given the opportunity to do so, because you could be killing it, but they're not allowing you to be great, then.
Right.
Kim Rowe is saying, "Girl, your Bollywood moves are iconic. Can you please show us some moves, please? I remember you said in your audition you wanted to choreograph Bollywood films."
So I grew up every Saturday morning, besides watching all the necessary cartoons in the morning. I would spend every Saturday watching old '90s Bollywood music videos. I mean, I feel like in the '90s, like music videos were just like you were watching Aaliyah, all that stuff all the time. And so like I was always watching '90s like Bollywood music videos along with hip hop stuff, and I loved it. Like I would always like literally try to copy the actresses like Aishwarya Rai and Madhuri Dixon were like just these beautiful, like, to me, those were what like women looked like, right? Because they weren't extra skinny. They had a little something too. So like although I was super skinny, I was like this sort of like stick figure when I was like 19, 20, but like, I think to me, it was just fun to be able to like show, like kind of be interested in something I was really passionate about. Because I love Bollywood dancing and I still do hip hop dancing, like just as a means of like, not more as like a recreational thing, not anything professional, but like I just have fun.
What you doing?
Yeah, I've been trying to like,
Don't stop getting leader.
Gotta unleash the dragon.
Kimmy Rowe is back again saying, one of the iconic moments I remember is you becoming the star of the party when the girls asked you to do an impersonation of your mom. Can we get an updated version for 2022?
So the best way to even put this, right? So my mom, God bless her heart, because she, first of all, going on the show was something that like I think nobody, like everybody was excited about, but they didn't really want me to be on the show because they were like, do you want everybody to see you and put your business, like it was like really about like, don't put your business out there like that. And all the, because like for me, whenever I saw a camera in the room, I always thought there was an auntie behind the camera kind of a thing, right? So it's like I didn't understand how people would just wild out. I'd be like, nope, I imagine my mother like filming this right now, because I just always was very consciously aware of the camera, like where girls started like arguing and getting extra. I was like, I kind of got quiet. I think that's what it was. I got a little bit quiet because I wasn't trying to show my ass like like that.
Mm-hmm. Are we able to get a mom impersonation?
Oh, you want to get the mom thing? Okay, well, I was going to say, yeah. So let me see. Oh my God. So, okay, this is going to be like me dropping the ball on it. But she's like, Julie, you're not marriage material. You're more like a one night stand kind of a girl.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Mama Ty said that when I was very young and very wild, and she's also says like very, very outlandish things. Like, growing up, my two best friends would always like we were at McDonald's one time, this woman came in, just blonde hair, big boobs, and my mom's like, look at her boobs and butts coming in here, and she said it loud enough to like so the person could hear, right? And actually, even one time, I was living in downtown Los Angeles, took my parents to this restaurant called Bottega Louie, and Zach Braff, like we kind of sat next to like Zach Braff, who was an actor, and I was trying to tell my mom on the fly, I was like, oh, Mom, he's an actor, and she's like, who, him? He's not looking like an actor, he's ugly. And she said that so loud so he could hear, and he just started cracking up. And I was like, I am so sorry that I ever like said that to you, like just said that out loud so you could hear it. And he goes, no, that was fine, I think I was just like, so yeah. So my mom's a wonderfully strong woman, and she'll say what she says. I gotta respect that. Like she don't hide nothing. She don't got no filter, and I think that's where I get that from.
That is funny. Here we go. Manny_Prime is saying, "Hi, Julie. Shout out to your mom. Did you get to participate in all the photo shoots after your elimination? So you told us about the skating one. Did you participate in any other ones?"
So I remember we ended up doing the last one we did was the La Perla one and the Lee's, because we did the Lee Jean shoot as well too. But there's like a La Perla one where we had to like wear lingerie and stuff. But yeah, because after I was kicked off, we had to go by like fake names. So they gave me the fake name Yoshi Akiko, and I remember. I'm like, don't worry. They said, I was like, Yoshi Akiko. I go, do I look anything?
Julie, Julie, do you mind if I jump in?
Yeah.
Don't get this reference. Guys, that's the password to the vault. That's the password. Someone go over to Tyra's house, knock on the door. That is the password to the vault. So, you know, me and my friends for a while, over 100 chats, we have a little running jokes going on. And I think it started, someone said that, no, Cycle 19, I'm looking at her face, Kiara said her photo that Tyra took of her while on the show, Cycle 19, is hanging up in her bathroom by way of Tyra's boyfriend, current boyfriend, past boyfriend, said it like, this is the photo of the girl that's hanging up. And I said, well, that's where all the footage is hidden, but it's password protected. Hannah Jones. I'm sorry, guys. Kiara, it was Kiara. Let me shut up. I'm going to ignore y'all. And I'm like, what is the password? So a lot of times throughout the chat, the people who watch, they'll be like, the password is this, the password is that. Say the name, guys, that's the password. Somebody go to Tyra's house, get that footage right now. We blowing it.
Yeah, Yoshi Akiko was the fake name that they gave me, because I remember being like, okay, whatever. Because when we had to go anywhere, whatever, when we did the shoot, still people like came up to talk to us. We had to be like, I had to give them that name. And I remember some dude like looking at me like, your name is Yoshi. I'm like, yep, that's what my name is. You know, so.
Yoshi Akiko. So you did the lingerie one, you did the roller skate one, but you didn't know, and the Levi Jean one.
Mm-hmm.
But you
and then that was it. Yeah. Because then they went to Japan. Then they went to Japan after
and you didn't,
that. So like, and yeah, no, we didn't go.
Girl, did you hear about what happened when they went to Japan?
Where they get stopped at the airport. I think I heard something about they got stopped at the airport because they thought they were like being like human traffickers, like they were human traffickers or whatever. Which is like,
and somebody told us, guys, I don't know, was it Nicole? I think it was Nicole, guys, I think, who said it was actually like Eva and Ann's fault why they got stopped, because like something they didn't say or do. I can't remember, but it was like Eva and Ann was somewhere up in them, the reason why they got stopped.
I had no idea about that, but it wouldn't surprise me. That would not surprise me one bit.
You didn't do the spider photo shoot, the tarantula?
No, but if any of them, I would love to do that, because it's like one of those like scary but badass kind of things that would be like really fun to try.
Mm. Okay. We're on down. You spoke about Anand Jon. You spoke about that. Wow. Do you regret on Top Model? This is
no.
Desi_Paz.
No, I don't regret being on Top Model, because like I said, like it was really interesting, no matter how crazy it was, to like experience all that, especially, you know, like I said, like all the stuff that I explained to you today was like just seeing how the show was cultivated and how it like kind of moved throughout the thing. So, and also for me, there's times that's like where people say, do you regret being on it? It's like, no, I don't regret being on it, but I wish I would have said like things differently. Like I said, I wish I would have wanted to model my own clothing line, and that's why I wanted to be a model rather than just like, you know, I was mad at like all the judges like, I want to be a apparel manufacturer, you know, sort of. So yeah, so no, I don't regret it.
What was your mom's reaction to seeing you on the show?
You know, so like before I went on the show, she like was like kind of was like, well, you know, don't say anything stupid, you know, like that kind of thing. And then as soon as I called her on the show, she was like, oh, hello, my famous daughter. I was like, what was your, like, she had this crazy, like, you know, camera voice all of a sudden. So, but no, she was supportive, you know, she just, I think she just really like wanted to make sure that I was representing myself as best as possible, and also not trying to, you know, the Indians too, it's just like, don't make us look bad, you know. But I think, you know, I think she was proud that I went on the show though.
Steph Lindsay wants to know, did she feel any racism towards her while on the show?
Towards who?
Yourself. Did you experience?
Oh, me. Well, other than just like I guess it's the stereotyping, right? Like the Kama Sutra stuff. Like, I think at that time in my life, like if I look back on it now, it's sort of like, you know, hindsight is such a blessing, right? With some things, but I think at that time I was just happy to hear people make references that were positive towards my culture, you know, because I think especially what 2004 was, right, you know, not too long after September 11th and stuff. So it was still fresh where, you know, people had like kind of views on brown people that weren't super positive. So I think for me, I was happy to get any kind of like positive, like tidbits from it. But the typecasting though, like finding that letter and at the CBS studio with like all the things like, oh, ethnic girl or the black girl or whatever, that to me, like at that time, like I said, I was maybe too young to like really take that in and understand the gravity of that. But, you know, at that time, I don't think so. Like not during the show, didn't feel like anybody was like that way. I felt like the show itself in entirety was kind of, you know, had its prejudice and discrimination stuff, but nobody in the show, like, you know, were interacting with anybody. Wasn't racist. Yeah.
Julie, listen, I only have 2 more questions. I'm going to let you know, killed this entire thing. Like, this is a hands down knockout interview. I just want to let you know this. Can you tell me, what is Julie doing right now in 2022?
So Julie right now is working for a nonprofit that is basically helping direct like outreach for individuals and global communities around the world, you know, helping with COVID relief and helping people just try to empower themselves so that they can, you know, do better in this world for themselves. And I'm also just working on myself. Like I'm trying to like, you know, resolve my traumas and learn emotional regulation. And, you know, I'm really into mental health because we recently had a friend who took his life a couple of days ago. And so for us, it's like, you know, for me, it's about just helping the people we can right now, you know, because there's a lot of people who are struggling and who've had a hard time since this pandemic. So I think for me, I'm just trying to help where I can. And like I said, sustainability is something I care about. And so still investing in things that can help the community and make our country better. So that's what I'm focusing on.
Well, I'm sending you love and positive energy and healing energy regarding that and everyone affected by that.
Thank you.
So welcome. You're so welcome. Is there anything about Top Model that I did not cover that you would like to share with us before I ask you my final?
Oh, man. I know that maybe like, because one of the things that I actually, like one of the best things that ever happened on the show, that sounds really crazy, was the colonic that we got on the show.
I forgot about the colonic! That did not get known!
Yeah, they I remember like because that was so cool to get that experience of like learning about health in that way, you know, because but what I think the girls didn't realize, and I remember Amanda's face was priceless because I was outside, everybody had gone through the colonic, but it was Amanda's turn, and I saw the like camera monitor where they were like cameramen were coming into her room right when they were doing it. Man, she was like mad, embarrassed, enraged. It was all the shame. It was all the feels, right? Because like, you know, because finally when it was my turn, I was the last one to go. And of course you have like a tarp over you and you got the thing up your booty, like working it, right? And of course there's like some rude sounds that come out every once in a while. So like they're literally trying to interview you while you're getting a colonic. Oh, I don't know how, like, but it was funny because like she's talking to me, she's like, so like, you know, like, what do you think of this? And I was like, if I just had an Archie comic book, I guess I would be good, you know. But but seeing Amanda's reaction to that was, I remember just being like, oh, she did not see that coming. I was dying outside like watching that because I felt like the way that they kind of like you know, like with the show, there was a rule, like everything was very open. So if you went to the bathrooms, like if there was more than 2 girls in there, like the cameraman would come in, like there was no showers. There's no showers on the doors. There was no like privacy in that way that like, why would you have privacy on a reality show? You know? So I think that was like something to me that like was super trippy, you know, it was just sort of kind of realizing like, if you were in a room with somebody, like we tried not to talk. We had a rule like, hey, if you're doing like going to the bathroom or taking a shower, don't talk so they can't come in and film us. You know, that was like these like ground rules that like us girls had to put together. Cause like, if you think about it too, all the people who were behind the camera are men, like at that time. And most of the people that were always in the rooms with us, it was like 80% dudes and then Tyra and Janice, you know, like, and maybe a couple like other people. But I felt like it was like mostly men in there. So it had to be like, you know, had to like kind of like sort of like protect yourself a little bit in ways that you could.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to everybody and you for forgetting to ask you about this, but what are your thoughts on makeovers?
Oh, the makeovers. Honestly, I felt bad for a lot of the girls. Like when they told Eva that they were gonna cut her hair shorter, I was like, yo, you guys are doing her dirty. You know, that's what I kind of thought. And like, so I felt like a lot of the makeover stuff was, some of the stuff was really cool. Like I remember thinking Nicole's red hair was really like dope. So I remember liking that. And Amanda, like, cause what they did was they would cut like so Jennifer, obviously she had like long, gorgeous hair, but they would chop her hair and then they would give Amanda like extensions and blonde her out. And like, I felt like they, you know, Jennifer with dark hair is beautiful. And like, Anne, I felt like with dark hair was beautiful. So I felt like I don't think Tyra did like not Tyra, but like, I don't think they did the best job with everybody's makeovers. I didn't feel like everybody was represented well. And they were like edgy was the freaking word of the season. We're going to make everything edgy. We're going to go edgy. We're going to go edgy with it. And I was like, what is edgy? So they're like, we're going to get cut off like 6 to 8 inches off your hairs to, I was like, what, give me an edgy look? Like, keep my long hair. Keep my long Indian hair. Don't cut my Indian hair.
Jennifer, not Jennifer, Julie, you were a gangster. You were a gangster because they really didn't that much.
Yeah, no, they didn't do much with me at all. That's why I was wondering if they would give me like a bob or something. I think I would have struggled with that because like when I was young, like I was called Jake for the first, like I was called Jake because my mom gave me that bob haircut. I looked like a boy and all that kind of crazy stuff. So I've been like, I'm gonna grow my hair out ever since then. So like I was nervous about them if they were going to cut my hair off. And then when she said a few inches, I was like, oh, no problem.
Okay. Oh my God. They're going to kill me, Julie. They're going to kill me. Who wrote on Jennifer's butt? Do you know?
No, I don't know that.
Okay.
Who wrote on Jennifer's butt?
Yeah. Something when Jennifer went to panel, were you there? I don't know. It's all blended.
Probably not. Yeah.
Something written on her butt. Okay, cool. And then, do you remember Tiffany from Cycle 4? But she had auditioned for Cycle 3 and had got in the fight and they didn't keep.
Oh, yeah. She was on season 4?
Yeah, she's the girl who got we were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. And how dare you learn from this?
Oh, they were all rooting for her. Because, you know, I remember her. I actually really wanted her to go through because I actually really loved her. I liked her backstory. And I was like, I wanted her to be on our season too. You know, like I really... I thought she was an interesting character.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
y'all happy? Oh my God, Julie, I was of it. And here we go. Final question: if you were standing before Tyra Banks right now in 2022, what would you say?
I would say thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, and I also hope that you can learn from your mistakes that you made on the show. Yeah. I mean, honestly, because the truth is that, like I said, like there was a lot of things she perpetuated a lot of stereotypes and she discriminated a lot of things, and you know, like, and I guess it's all for a show, right? It's all for entertainment, and so other than that, like I said, I was really grateful for the time she gave me the opportunity that she presented to me and everything, and you know, like I'm a big fan of hers, but I like Naomi a little bit more.
Boom, 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 boom. And with that, y'all see the world. Yes, we are watched all around the world. Stand up right now, call the police, and after you get off the phone, give a round of applause to Julie for giving us an amazing chat on America's Next Top Model Cycle 3. Oh my God.
Thank you so much, Oliver, for like reaching out to me and for doing this. I know I was excited to like check out all the stuff that you've done and all the content you put out. So thank you. And thank you to all your fans too. This has been an amazing opportunity. I was so nervous, but I feel like doing this later and seeing all the vindication and the truth that's kind of come out, I feel grounded and like better about where I'm at right now. I mean, like, cool. Like, I'm glad that the truth is out, you know, truth shall set you free.
Yeah, shout out to all I call them my friends, some of them my family. They're so dope. They're so dope. And we've been doing this for almost 2 years now. So dope. And I'm glad.
Wonderful.
I know that they are going bananas. When they watch this on YouTube, they'll go bananas. This is definitely, guys, do I dare say this is like top 10 out of the 120 I've done? This is, oh my God. Like, I gotta go. Hey. Oh my goodness. Julie, thank you again so much for agreeing to do this with me. I really enjoyed this. I know a lot of people are going to enjoy this. Thank you for sharing. Being transparent, giving us your truth, your way, and the way that only Julie could do it. Oh my God.
Yeah. I love sharing space and time with you. Thank you, Oliver.
Everybody, please give Julie a round of applause. Send her hugs, kisses, and all the positive energy that we always do as we say goodbye to her from giving an amazing A&T and Cycle 3 chat. Bye, Julie.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, guys, listen. I'm going to try to upload this tonight, okay? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to try to upload this tonight. I'm going to try to upload the Alexandra interview from Cycle 14 tonight. And I'm going to probably try to premiere it. Okay, let me be honest. These probably going to come out tomorrow, all right? I'm going to put the Alexandra one out. You know what? Let's just do a back-to-back. Let's just do a back-to-back marathon. Let's just do it. Let's just do it in the morning. So tell everybody over there on YouTube, tell your friends. We're just going to do a back-to-back marathon in the morning. Call off work. Do something. Just call off. It's just going to be straight about 3 to 4 hours of amazing A&TM content in the morning, guys. I love you guys so much. This was freaking amazing. Thank you guys to everybody who got a badge. Thank you to everyone who got a badge. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. We had over 100 eyeballs tonight. Thank you guys. I love you guys so much. Be safe out there. Do something kind for someone else. And before you close your eyes and you go to bed, be sure to pray and Kegel. Until next time. Bye. Come home.